go. 3, 2.
We ready right now.
All I know is this violates every canon of respectable broadcasting.
How are you?
Hey, who wants to help me get this recorder out of here? I need some muscle over here.
You are listening to Blame Your Brother.
Hello. Welcome everybody back to Blame Your Brother. This is our first episode. We were off last week, and we did a Zoom one before that, so it's the first time back in studio in about 3 weeks.
Yep.
So we are happy to be back streaming the show on YouTube just for you guys at blameyourbrother.tv. So thanks for the live chat crowd that's hanging out. We have much to discuss. We'll talk about why we took the break, maybe to get emotional. Who knows? We'll find out. But yeah, before we do that, we will introduce ourselves. We are Blame Your Brother, and I'm one half of that duo. I am David, a.k.a. D-Brew, voice of people, Mr. 40%, Glenn Jackson, the spiritual midget, and I sit next to this gentleman. Over to my left, it's John.
Hey everybody, John here, a.k.a. Tico, a.k.a. Mr. Groupon, Mr. PTI, the Madman.
They got John Tortorella, a madman.
They do have a madman.
Okay, he's a madman.
All right, there we go. So David, John, Blame Your Brother. That's right. Been off for a week, and like I said, we will get to that. So let's start with some lighter fare. Yesterday was St. Patrick's Day, St. Patty's Day. John, when's the last time you celebrated St. Patrick's Day?
I didn't even wear green. Like, I was trying to take a nap, and my wife came up and pinched me, and I'm like,
No, for real?
yeah.
Oh, boy.
So,
oh,
yeah,
boy. Yeah. I'm trying to, I can't even think, like, the last time I went out, I can't even remember. It's been so long. I mean, once you have kids, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
it's off the table.
If you don't live in Boston, it's not.
Yeah, so especially with this being a pandemic year, I can't imagine. I've not really been dialed into social media, but I can't imagine that too many people went out hard this year. But who knows, right?
Who knows?
It's possible they did. So if you did,
More power to you, man.
good luck. Good luck. Hopefully you've been vaccinated. A lot of people are getting vaccinated. You still have not been vaccinated?
I've yet to.
Okay. We're basically last in line.
Pretty much.
Okay. Well, if you've been vaccinated, good for you. We've seen some of our followers have been vaccinated, and I think, Biden said by the end of May, everyone will be vaccinated or have the opportunity to be vaccinated.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed for that. I'm ready to go get my shot. If they called me tomorrow, like I've constantly said on the show, if they call me tomorrow, I'd be there to do it. So what have you been up to? Anything?
Working and trying to get a little bit of sleep here and there. It's spring break this week.
Oh.
And so my son is home. And between him and my daughter Emily, when she was real young, she had really bad ear infections.
Yeah.
And so for like almost the first half of her first year of her life, she couldn't hear anything. And so she's behind,
right,
for obvious reasons. So she's got like different therapies that she has to go to. And so between Asher being home and me having to cart her around to all her stuff, it's just been lackluster as far as sleep goes for me.
I can imagine. Well, I guess you had sleep there for a little bit, so hopefully you enjoyed it. I will put this out there for all of our listeners and to anyone. Our friend Josh Baker, who's been on the show multiple times, has a job opportunity for anyone that's looking for a steady government job, benefits, 401k. The pay is $16 an hour, and you would be basically photographing dead bodies because he works in a facility where they do autopsies for the state. He had actually done one for very relatively person that passed away, Josephus, the wrestler. He had done. So he does, if someone dies in Tennessee or in the Nashville area, he'll pretty much, there's a chance he'll get them, famous or not. So if you're looking for a job opportunity, which I know a lot of people probably are, reach out to us if you know anyone that does that can stomach that. Because he texted me, I was like, you know anybody looking for a job? And I'm like, I don't know, what's the job? He said basically you got to be able to stomach photographing dead bodies. So if that is your thing and you're looking for a job, please hit us up on social media. Send us an email at bybpod@gmail.com, and we'll get you in that direction.
I mean, there's definitely people that come to mind, but I don't know if they need a job.
Right. Some people may quit their job. I mean, honestly, if I didn't have a job that paid more than that, it sounds interesting. And I think,
I mean, I'm in that boat, but that whole stomaching I don't know if I'd be that guy.
I don't know, man. I think you would, I honestly believe like you would get used to it after. I mean, yeah, I imagine the first couple would probably be pretty rough, right? I mean, but if you think you could, I think you can stomach past anything essentially if you can do it repetitively, you know. So anyway, just putting out. Lisa May says, I knew someone. Well, Lisa, please send me a message on Facebook and I'll get you the details on that if that's for sure. Well, let's just get to the heart of the matter, what we're here for. Why we took off last week. I will tell you basically the timeline of my mother passing away from stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Now, if you're expecting a bunch of tears, I've talked about it a lot with people, and you kind of get in this rhythm of talking about it with people where you're not quite so emotional. And there's still emotional moments here and there, but sometimes just telling it like newspaper style, like a story or like a article, it's a
matter of fact.
It's a little bit easier. So I mean, I'll go into the emotional stuff as well. But if you don't know, my mother was on her birthday, January 30th. She informed me that she had cancer. Now, at that point in time, I just heard the word cancer, and I was like, this is bad, you know. I didn't know how. I obviously knew it was bad, and talking to her over the next couple weeks, it did not sound very promising. It sounded like it was in stage 3 or stage 4, and she just didn't think she would be able to have chemo. She talked to her doctor. She went in. I guess chemo was possibly going to be an option, but they didn't know. They were talking about experimental drugs and things like that. Now, to clarify, it's my mother, but if you don't know, first time ever listening, if you're just a friend of mine that's checking this out to maybe catch up, me and John have been friends for basically our entire life.
Since 92.
I mean, come on, since we were teenagers. I mean, since we were able to think on our own pretty much. And John was at my house, as people say, pretty much every day.
I was probably at the Brewington's house more often than I was my own.
So he knew my mother. He worked with my mom for, a lot of people don't even know that, John.
Yeah.
Like I tell people that, people are like, what?
Yeah.
I'm not even sure like some of my family members really knew that, so I mean, in effect, John, is in it. So he's not just listening as a spectator. I mean, he knew her for many years as well.
Very much so.
So anyway, so she would tell me these, how it was going and everything. And right as the ice storm hit, she was due to go in for a biopsy. They were going to go in there, do the surgery, kind of get some, however biopsies work. I don't really know 100%, but get the details on that. She went in. She couldn't go in that week, so it was pushed back to the next week because of the ice storm that happened. Everything pretty much shut down. Like doctors' offices were shut down, so you knew it was serious when that happens. Well, she went the next week, and she did the biopsy, and it was not good for her. It turned out she had COVID somehow. I mean, no one's really sure. I mean, it's one of those things where you don't know how someone got COVID. It's possible maybe she got it from her husband. They don't know. Maybe she got it in the hospital. Could be. All I know, she had COVID and she had pneumonia, so she had to stay in the hospital for I think 5 days after that. My sister went and saw her, and she said she didn't look good and all that, but she came out of the hospital, and they said she was going to hospice care. Now, when I got that telephone call, that was rough, because I mean, anyone that knows hospice means it's the end. It's the end of the line.
Yeah.
And she said that, they informed her that it was just, it spread too much and there was no chance of that. And just emotionally even get ready for that. I mean, your mother's passed away from cancer.
Yeah, she did hospice actually here at my house.
Right. So, you're emotionally, you're not, it's just hard to even fathom the stuff it's happening.
It's like dominoes, and things are going to fall, but you just don't know when.
Right.
And there's literally nothing you can do about it.
No. I mean, and so you're sending all these, you're praying, and you're just sending out these positive vibes, but it's not going to end well. Yeah. And what you're hoping for is time with this person. Let them really grasp the end of their life. And talking to my mom, she was well aware of that. I know some people are probably not. I mean, especially she was young, 61 years old. I thought my mom would live to be like old, like 90, 100. I really did, because she lived a clean life. She didn't smoke. She didn't drink. I mean, she stayed active. She was always outside. She was, her and her husband were going out, just living life, And so you're not ready for that. So the hospice began on a Monday. So it would have been like March, whatever that Monday is, March 10th, like March 8th or something. She went to hospice. So I went there Monday night when she came home from the hospital. My sister was there and her husband were there. And it was just, it's just rough to see someone like that, man. I mean, because this is a person that you grew up with, seeing them healthy. And like, we always think of our parents as like protectors.
Yeah, they're like untouchable.
Right. You never really see them, especially as you're younger. You don't see them as people. You see them as your mom or your dad. Like, that's all they are to you. Like, you don't even really think of them outside. Like, they don't have a life. I am their life.
Yeah.
Which is true, but as parents,
Well, I mean, there's a line from the movie The Crow. It's like the word for God on children's lips in the world is mom.
Right. Yeah. So I got there Monday, and I looked at my sister, and I was like, yeah, this is not good. Like, I mean, and my sister is a nurse who's done hospice care. So I always like knowing. Like, I like to know. I like knowledge. Like, I don't want to be surprised by things. I mean, that's kind of one of my things. Like, I love, like, when people think, well, you're not a planner. I'm not a planner, but I am one who craves knowledge. Like, I just need to know what the end is. Like, when I get a book, I want to know the beginning, the end, and we'll figure out the middle, as we get there. So I left Monday, and I came back Tuesday, and I was like, well, I called my work and like, I'm off until whenever. Like, and they're like, cool. My work's great. I will say that for them. They're like, you take whatever you want. Who cares? They said, don't even think about this place. And, so that was great. I worked at other places. I don't know what they would have said, and I've thought about that. But anyway, so I go back Tuesday. Now, Tuesday when I got there, she was lucid. She was able to talk, but not much. Her throat hurt, and she didn't really feel like talking. And she was in the bed the entire time. And I had to, at one point, help my sister get her up for her to use the bathroom. And that was just like one of these like cosmic
harrowing
slap in the face moments. Like, am I doing this right now? Like, this is the lady that used to change me all the time, that would help me get potty trained, that would, if I had an accident, she would take care of me. And now here I am having to do this. And it's like your mom. So it's kind of uncomfortable. And you're just like, And so that was Monday. So we go Tuesday. Now, the great thing about it is Tuesday, and this all happened within 3 days. So I'm talking Monday, this is a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday story pretty much. I mean, this is crazy how quick it went. So Tuesday, luckily, and I am very appreciative of this, she got to see her mom. She got to see her dad. She got to see all of her grandchildren. All of her children came out and saw her. So that was like really great for, not even necessarily for her, because as the day went on Tuesday, and I was there, I got there at like 9 a.m. and I left at like 10 at night. I was there all day. You could see the lucidness was going away. You could tell at one point as it went to evening, I didn't even know if she really knew where she was at, So the hospice people came, and they don't know who anyone is when they're walking in. Her husband had actually an appointment with the dentist that day that he couldn't miss. So he wasn't there, and he was like really upset about it. He was crying about it, and we're just like, his name is David as well. So if you want to add a little confusion to the story, she married a David. She had me, that's a David, and her next husband was a David. So, there's a lot of Davids. But the hospice people came in, so they're looking at me and my sister and my brother's there, Lee, who was on the show. And they're talking to, first you talk to like a grief counselor. I don't know if this was your experience or not. And
it's oddly enough, the grief counselor that we had was somebody that we knew.
Who?
Gene Lovelace.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I recognize the name.
He was a member of our church.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Wow, really? Oh,
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. So they come in and they talk to you. You know, this is what to expect, and if you need anything, we'll help you with how's the funeral situation going to be. You know, she's going to be cremated. Okay, we'll help you do that, and then you get to talk to the nurse. Okay, and so my sister knows all the lingo. I mean, they're like, we're going to do this, and my sister's like, yep. And so then they're like, well, do you have any questions? And my question is, I looked at the nurse, and everyone's in this room. I mean, there's probably, there had to be 15 people in the room, you know. I mean, you're talking her sister was there, her other sister, her mom, her dad, me, Ashley. I mean, there was a lot of people in this room, you know. And I was just like, I just need, how long does she have? And they were like, well, let's go into the other room. So then, you know, well, this is bad. This is bad news, you know. So I went in there and I just said, okay, well, I mean, just keep it real. And the hospice nurse was like, a couple of days at best. She goes, I just want to be honest with you. And these people, you could see, like, and this is what, it's crazy to me. I mean, I know people say like nurses are heroes, but they really are, because they were upset. Like, you could tell they were like upset about it, you know, not like they weren't crying about it, but they were like nervous about it and upset. And I can't imagine having to deliver that news. I mean, I wish I had that in me. I mean, because I do love that they provide that service to people to help them through this process. They said not long, you know, and just being honest with you, and everyone's just floored. You know, David came in, he's crying, Ashley's crying, Lee's just like, he's just not even there. And they're talking to me because I'm the only one like looking at him. I'm like, oh my God, dude, this is just like the weight's on you, you know. And when they left, I just went outside and lost it, man. Yeah. You know, I was like outside, side of the house, just, I mean, you know, just the realization that this is it. I mean, like I said, you knew, but hearing it is different. So they left, and then there was a big to-do about the medicine. The medicine was supposed to be delivered. It didn't show up, and Ashley's on the phone with them. And I wanted someone to be angry at, because to me, it's easier for me to process anger than sadness. Yeah. I mean, I can process both, but to me, anger feels better, you know, going down. Yeah. It definitely doesn't feel better going up. You know, grief is better for that, but anger. So I was like, give me that phone now. Give me the phone of the person that's supposed to be delivering this medicine. And I kind of went off for a minute. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? I mean, you know, so we finally got the medicine, and it's all this medicine. It's like, you got to take this and this and this and this. And I'm just like, I'm glad my sister was there, because I'm like, I don't even know what the hell would be going on right now, you know. And my sister's dealing with her grief because it's like her best friend, you know. I mean, she's my mom. I loved her. You know, that's all I knew my entire life. And that's the relationship we had. Her and my sister were like truly best friends. At one point we were, well, I'll get to that, man, but it's a cute story later on. But anyway, so I leave at 10 o'clock at night, and I told my sister, I said, if anything happens, I want you to call me. So I go home, and, you know, I can't go to sleep. So I'm sitting there watching movies or whatever, anything just to get your mind off of it, you know. And I fall asleep around 1 o'clock, and around 2 o'clock, my sister calls me, and she's like, her breathing's getting worse, you know. And I was like, okay. And it's just so much to process. I was like, do I go over there? And I was like, I don't know, man. I was like, surely she'll be alive for just a few more hours. I want to get some sleep, but I can't fall back asleep. And so I'm tossing and turning. And like, of all of it, I do regret that I should have, in hindsight, and I told my sister that just in tears. I was like, I wish I'd been there, you know. Because the next call we got was at 4:40 a.m. My sister called, and I knew, you know, once the phone rang, I already knew what it was, you know, and she was just in tears. And just in the confusion of the moment, she goes, she passed away, you know. And I didn't know what to say. I said, do I need to be there? And she's like, yes, you need to be here. I need you to be here. So I got up, got my clothes, and went over there, and there she was. I mean, she was dead, you know. And my sister told me that she went peacefully. And I said, I have comfort in that her husband, I'll talk about in a minute, her husband and her daughter were there at the end with her. And so that was like very comforting to me. And it's just a lot to process in that moment. And, you know, they took the body away, and there was more tears, and it's just, you know, I mean, anyone can know. It's a lot of just grief and dealing with it. And so then we stayed there with David, and we were trying to kind of, stay with him, and a few people were coming by. You know, Lee came over, because I called Lee, and I was like, do you want to come over and see the body before they take it? He's like, I can't, man. He goes, I just can't. And I went, it's cool, man. I understand. Like, you know, so we just spent the day on Wednesday, just just kind of being a family. Like we tried to just make each other, like Lee was like he was very like just engaging the entire day. Like, and people have heard him podcasts. No, he can be engaging when he wants to be. And he just really, I didn't tell him this. He probably won't ever listen to this, but he really helped kind of just keep our minds off of really absorbing in it,
Yeah.
And so that was her passing, and then we had a lot to do the following day because my mom handled all the bills for her husband. Now her husband, like I said, his name is David, and people talk of like, oh, you believe in soulmates and all that stuff. I mean, I do to some degree, and I think that those two were truly meant to be together. I mean, you could tell whenever they were in a room together, you could sense the happiness in that room, man. It's one of those, like, it's like a crazy, like, you've met couples like that, I mean, we all, don't get me wrong, I mean, all of us, obviously we have wives and we love our wives and everything, but these people want it to be, sometimes I need a break from my wife, and sometimes she needs a break from me 100%. Like, I understand it. But David and Kathy, my mom and David were just like inseparable. They loved doing everything together, and she was like he was her rock, she was her rock, all that. And I saw this joy in her that I really didn't see a lot of time growing up around my father, And like I always say, just seeing it around her really experiencing like the second half of her life was always like, it was great, I mean, and anytime you meet, if your mom's been divorced and she meets a new guy, there's always that hesitation, like, but Dave's just a solid guy. He's a good guy. So on that Thursday, we had to log into every one of her accounts, get everything switched to auto pay. We had to make sure all the bank accounts were drawn up the right way. We had to, it was a long day, man. I mean, but I was happy to do it. And the reason I was happy to do it is not even, it's for David, but it's because that's what my mom would want us to do for David, and
it does feel good when you get to care about somebody that you knew cared about someone that you care about.
Yeah. So we took care of him. We even set up, and the kindness of people and things like these, the amount of people that have reached out, and I think sometimes people don't realize like how important it is just to reach out to someone that's went through something, just to say, hey man, I'm so sorry, I'm thinking of you. It warmed my heart for people I wouldn't even expect like to do it. Like I always say, like you expect, like I knew you were going to call. I knew like my other family. Yeah, I knew like those people would call, but like people we met through the podcast, Bree Poe sent me like a gift basket the next day. I mean, messaged me immediately, and people were messaging me going, I lost my mom, and if you need to talk, and this is how it's going to be. And it was crazy, man. It just really, it's one of those, like, it restores your faith in humanity kind of moments, And we set up a GoFundMe, and we talked, and I said, I don't need any money, but I know David's going to have these hospital bills, because even insurance, they cover 80%, and then you got to pay 20%. I mean, you can only imagine what the bill, I mean, there's no telling what it is. I mean, there's no freaking telling, man. I went to the ER a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago. I was there for 1 hour, dude. I have great insurance. I had to pay a $700 bill, dude.
Yeah.
So imagine what a cancer bill is where you've been in and out of the hospital. Yeah. Now, I've learned a lot of times if you call your doctor and they pass away, the doctor can eat the bill. And one doctor was like, yeah, that's fine. Just he goes, I'll write this. So I just want him to be set financially. And my mom apparently had saved a lot of money, which is not surprising knowing her. She kept records meticulously. We were able to log into every one of her accounts, man. It was great. Like, we would just laugh at all these, like how great her record keeping is. I was like, I did not get that trait from her. No way. Like, I'm a mess, but I would just laugh. It would like warm my heart just to see all this. She had like my original birth certificate. I'm like in like a frame thing where I was like, this is crazy, dude. But one of the things that was really made my sister really tear up was one of the security questions. You log in, you put the password in, but you haven't logged in a while, so they'll ask you a security question. It was, what is your best friend's middle name? And my sister was like, put Anthony in it, because that was David's middle name. And I went, nah, I think it's your middle name. And I put in her middle name. Boom, that's what it was. And my sister just lost it, because that was like, So we kind of took care of David. We ended up selling her car. And I told David, I'm going to take care of all the cremation. I'll take care of the death certificate. Don't worry. I said, I don't want you to worry about any of that stuff, man. Like, I will take care of it, So we've done that, and we're having a memorial on Saturday for her. And you're going to be there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I haven't really told you what you're going to be doing. I was
kind of know already.
Yeah, but I mean, you're basically they wanted you to lead a hymn of Amazing Grace and then say a prayer. And I said he would do that. I was like, he would do anything. Pretty much, we asked him. I think that'd be great for you to be part of it. So I wrote out my speech today, and I started last night, and man, that was an emotional roller coaster, man. I don't even know how well I'm going to get through it, because basically I'm opening up the service, and basically my goal is to, thank everyone for coming out, but then kind of tell everyone who she was, and just writing this out, man. This just stream of consciousness, just reliving her life and everything, man. It's good. It was cathartic, and it was tearful, and I had my wife read it tonight because I just want someone to read it. I go, read this and let me know if it's enough, too much, and she was just in tears as well. So it's because my wife Casey was like super tore up about it. And I think it makes us reflect on ourselves, on our parents, if we her parents, our relationships, and she's been like, you need to go to the doctor. We need to start saving, which is good, but it's just a crazy ordeal. It just went super fast. It was, and it's still I'm still processing even now, and it's a weird thing about grief. Like I said, I'll look at a picture of her, I'll start crying. I'll think about something growing up, I'll start crying. And then other times I'm not sad for hours at a time, and I feel almost bad about it. I'm shouldn't I just be sad all the time? And someone did reach out, and they were like, hey, because I was tweeting some of my thoughts. Just I wanted to let people know that, I was friends with on Twitter, and one day was like, that's okay. It's going to happen. Some days you're going to be fine. You may go a few days of that, and it's going to hit you out of the blue. You're going to see something that reminds you of her, and it's just, so it's just crazy. And then
I still have dreams with my mom.
Yeah. So it's crazy, right? And I got super sick after I was done with everything. I got home on Friday, and I was just not feeling good, man. I never had a fever, so I did not have the flu. I didn't have anything like that, but my whole body just ached, man. I had aches. I would get chills, and I just wanted to lay in bed and just sit there and just do nothing. And I hear people talk, you've talked about openly about depression, and I know that's kind of the feeling people have, is that you don't want to do anything. Just it, and I felt that. I was like, I don't even want to leave bed. I was like, I'm thirsty. I'm like, I don't want to get up to go to the kitchen, man. I don't even want to move. I just want to sit here and I had oh man, it was crazy, man. And so I read into that. That's a thing. People get sick a lot of time after dealing with it, because when I would leave her house those 2 nights, I felt like I'd just been beat up. It was just my whole body just ached. It was all this tension, and so it's unfortunate. It's part of life. I mean, it's tragic. She was so young and just a great person. That's what really sucks. I mean, I've talked about my dad before. I don't want to run the man down, but I wouldn't say he's a great person. I would say he was all right, consider his circumstances of life. But her, I don't know anyone that's ever said anything bad about her.
Yeah.
I think your mom's kind of in the same boat. Nora, your mom, sweetheart. Yeah. I can't imagine anyone besides our dads not liking your mom. And even your dad at the end came back around because he knew, this was a good person. And I think that's a bond we had, where our moms were these very just charitable, self-serving people that
saint-like.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you don't want to say it, but I do, and it's it just sucks, man. It's life's unfair, and if you have a loved one, just remember that. Just if you have a mom and you haven't talked to her in a while, give her a call. If you or dad or whoever, anyone. If anyone in your life, man, because anything could happen. It don't have to be cancer. It could be a car wreck. It could be. I've had friends that their husbands died in a car wreck and they were 25 years old. It's life's unfair like that. So, So that's kind of what we're at. Obviously, we weren't going to record last week because not in a mindset, and I was still spending time with my family. But you asked if I wanted to record today, and I did. I wanted to get this out, and I wanted people to know what was going on. And I think what's going to be tough now moving forward is I hate when I appreciate people thinking of me, but I don't want people pitying me.
Yeah.
And I hate that. And I've interacted with a few people and they haven't brought it up, and I'm okay with that. If you want to bring it up and you're around me, that's fine, but you don't have to. We can talk about anything we used to talk about. And if you want to bring it up, that's fine. And if you don't, that's fine as well. So, but yes, I probably skipped over, but the GoFundMe, I definitely skipped over that. So the GoFundMe, we wanted to do that. And I just put a price. I didn't know what the price is. That's why I don't like GoFundMe. I don't know what to put. I just put $2,500. Like when we did the St. Jude's marathon, I was like, we're going to raise like $500, and that's cool. I mean, that's fine. Yeah. So I just put $2,500. Dude, we hit that in like the first day, and I was like, oh my God. So then people were like, well, you need to put more, and I was like, okay, well, I'll up it a little bit. If people want to give, they can, and whatever we give to David, he will appreciate it. It covered the cost of the cremation, which he don't have to worry about that. And tomorrow I go pick up her ashes. So they said it was going to take like 3 weeks, but I guess the process moved a little faster. So I will go get those tomorrow. And David, her husband, wanted those, at the memorial. So he will have those tomorrow. So that's great as well. And just, you go through all the old stuff, the old pictures, and you just see like a different, and you always see these pictures, but, we're all.
I never realized how much like you she looked until I saw pictures of when she was really young.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, everyone that came over saw Lee, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that you look just like her." Now he died, like he favors her, but like Lee's like weird because he's a hybrid of like mom and dad. To
me, Lee looks a whole lot like your dad.
He does now, especially, doesn't he? Yeah. It's crazy, like especially as he gotten older. But yeah, so I'm just saying, I was glad. Like I said, I'm glad I was there with her through those 3 final days. I really am. And I'm really appreciative that my sister was there. And me and my sister don't talk a lot, but it's good to just see her again and kind of connect like we used to. So that's that. Thank you guys for thinking of me. I know everyone that is in the live chat reached out to me 100%. And I just appreciate all you guys' thoughts. And I don't know what else to say. Just thank you so much. And we'll just, we'll continue on with life and just remember her every day of our life and just see what happens. So that's that. So we both now share that in common, and I'm sure a lot of people.
It's not something I ever wanted to share with you.
No, not for sure. But that's life, right? Yeah. I mean, and cancer is a bitch because you seem like there would be better options for it at this point. I mean, we've gotten rid of AIDS, dude.
Yeah.
If you told me in 1991 that we would have a cure for AIDS, I mean, no, dude, there's no way. But now they literally have stuff that's like, it's done. And cancer is still just like this crazy thing that no one can figure out. So maybe somebody's kid out there who's listening, or someone, maybe your kid will help come up with a cure for cancer one day. I mean, because that would be a great benefit for society. It's just it's a damn deadly killer. So, but that's where we're at with it. Once again, thank you guys for thinking of me, and that's where we've been. So and so we'll just move on for better things. So I do have other things to talk about. I do want to tell you that today I took the journey. I watched the 4-hour cut of Zack Snyder's Justice League.
What'd you think?
Have you watched it?
Not yet. I was planning on it, but I just haven't seen it yet.
I'm going to give you my backstory first. What do I think of Zack Snyder, the director? I mean, I think he's all right, okay? There's things he puts out, and I think they're okay. Watchmen. I think he did a pretty damn good job.
I mean, there's a lot of scenes that, the comic was really brought to life in a lot of scenes. This stuff with Rorschach when he was in prison. It's
great, right?
That was on point.
It's off the page.
It's on point.
It's everything I would want to be in a movie. Man of Steel. I still love Man of Steel. Now, I do have some problems with it as a movie. Batman v Superman. I've learned to appreciate it more than I used to. And I've watched the Zack Snyder, actually, director's cut, which is longer than and it's better. It is a better movie, okay? So I watched Justice League. You watched Justice League, all right? What did you think of Justice League when it came out?
If it had come out before all the Marvel stuff, I'd have probably appreciated it a lot more as a movie.
Okay.
The thing is when you have something to compare something to, you got to raise your game. And they did not. A lot of the characters weren't really
Right.
you know,
All right.
fleshed out. And,
You're right.
Solely entertaining. It's a good way to kill an afternoon, but was it a really good movie? I don't think
It's forgettable to me.
Yeah.
It's forgettable. It's a forgettable movie. I mean, there's not, you said it best, man. These characters were not fleshed out. Now, if you don't know the history of it, Zack Snyder was filming it, had a family emergency come up. I believe a loved one of his passed away.
His wife.
Okay, his wife passed away. So you can only imagine,
Yeah.
and Joss Whedon come in, right? And apparently this dude is not a good guy. I did not know, but I've read stories.
I found out a lot of stuff about half the cast of Buffy the Vampire Slayer was like, yeah, don't be alone with this guy.
Yeah, that's bad, right? Ray Fisher, who played Cyborg, said this dude is a bad dude. He's like, he is not a good guy to work with. Okay, so I'm giving you all that, all right? So I sat down today and I said, I'm off today. I'm going to watch this cut, man. I'm going to get some things done. I'm going to watch it. I got to say, man, fantastic. I mean, dude, Cyborg, badass in this version, dude. I mean, there's so many more scenes with him in it. Flash, I want the Flash movie tomorrow, and I want it directed.
He was one of the few things that I liked about
he was great.
The movie.
He's better in this one. Way better. He does something at the end. It's just like, dude. It's crazy because it's almost, and I know this is wild, it's almost a movie about Cyborg and Flash. Like, really, it really is, dude.
It almost needs to be.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that don't have their own movie.
Right. And it really becomes almost, when I talk about Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the movie's called Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but the movie is, to me, is not about Ferris Bueller, because Ferris Bueller does not change from the beginning of the movie to the end.
Yeah.
It's his friend, Cameron, who the movie really is really about. It's really his journey from the beginning of the movie to the end. He changes. He becomes a better person. So, okay, it's 4 hours long. So that's tough. Okay, now let's just be honest here. It's tough for anyone to watch a 4-hour movie. I would probably suggest to most people, you probably want to cut it up. Now, there are chapters in the movie, so you can maybe watch it like a TV show or something. You watch chapter 1, chapter 2, and there's like 5 chapters or something. If you can watch it on 4, I suggest you do that. But I understand people have kids' lives. That's hard to do. But what it does, it furthers out the story. It shows Darkseid, which was heavily needed. It shows more. It just explains more of what's happening. Like I felt with the one, Steppenwolf was the character. I mean, we didn't know anything about this bad guy. You didn't even care. He was just like a CGI bad guy. There was more to him in it. And this movie has an appearance by the Joker in it. It's Jared Leto. Now I know
I saw that in the previews, and I was like, "Well, where was that?"
Now everyone's the benchmark obviously is Heath Ledger. Okay, and if you're going to compare anyone to Heath Ledger's Joker, it's going to be a letdown. Okay, so we need to get it past that. Okay, I thought, and it's a short appearance, but this appearance by Jared Leto, I'm like, dude, I'm in as that dude is Joker.
There's a theory that there's actually 3 Jokers in the DC universe.
Okay.
And that's why you get these different aspects. I mean, you've got like Jack Nicholson's Joker was like a gangster.
Yeah.
And then, boom. And then you've got a version that was kind of like Joaquin Phoenix's version.
Yeah.
Of someone who just kind of
lost it.
Yeah. And then you've got the Heath Ledger version, which is just like someone who just wants to watch the world burn.
Right. Yeah, I mean
and there was actually 3 different distinct people that carried that moniker.
I mean, that would make sense. I think in the real world, if there was someone like the Joker, there would definitely be copycats of him running around 100%. I mean, in the Joker movie, Joaquin Phoenix, I mean, that's essentially kind of what happens at the end of the movie.
Sets that up. It also kind of set that up in the TV show Gotham.
Oh, okay. Never watched it. Was it good? That's a no.
It's heavy handed on the fan service.
Okay. Yeah, I think I watched like part of it, so I was like, yeah, I'm not. I've told you, man, I just don't like the WB shows anymore. I think they're just too cornball, man. Yeah. The Flash, I'm like, all right, dude. More action, less drama. That's what we want out of these things, okay? Yeah. I don't want teenage high school drama. I'll take good drama. I don't want teenage romance drama.
They were trying to take what Smallville did and
of course.
Yeah.
But I think the Zack Snyder version is amazing. I really do. And I would petition. I've already said I love Cavill Superman. I do. I think, and I know it's maybe hot take of the year, but maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what people's opinions are anymore, but I think it's better than Christopher Reeves, man.
As Superman, I would agree. As Clark Kent, I would disagree wholeheartedly.
Yeah,
there's not that. You never see that Clark Kent, and I know in not in real life, but in that mythos, Clark Kent is the Mask.
Right. Yes. 100%. Yeah.
And we never see that.
Yeah.
We don't see that at all from Cavill, and that's my biggest problem with Batman versus Superman.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. And like I said, does Zack Snyder have problems? Yes. Are there still problems that exist in the Justice League? Yes. There were some scenes where I'm like, all right, man, what is happening right now? But I would just want you to watch it where it sets up a sequel. Okay?
All right.
It sets up a sequel.
I will watch it this week.
And I would love to see that sequel because it's based on a DC story already that I'm aware about. And I've always thought it was a fascinating story to follow. And it's got, I'll just say, here's Deathstroke makes an appearance, Batman, Joker, Lex Luthor, all these people would be in the sequel if it happens. So it's great, man. I was really blown away. And I know, here's what I'd say. If you're not a comic book fan, if you're not a comic book geek, you don't like those stories, you're not going to like it. Don't watch it. But if you're like me and John and you really love this stuff, you're gonna like the director's cut. Once again, some of his style decisions, I mean, I'd say it's about Snyder. He can make a great, if you need a trailer for a movie, go hire this dude because some of his scenes you're like, that's badass, dude. But then you're like, all right, let's continue. We don't need everything in slow motion, brother. I mean,
he does. We mentioned Watchmen. He was heavily slow motion.
Oh well, this is heavily. My kids weren't even watching it, but they would walk in. I was watching it, and they knew I was watching. I was like, "You want to watch it?" Like, heck, no, I don't want to watch a 4-hour movie. I was like, "I hear you. I get you. Good decision, probably." But they kept going. Why is Flash in slow motion in every scene he's in? I'm like, okay. I mean, I get you on that, but what else are you gonna? I mean, the dude's moving so fast, you would never be able to see him. So at least about that. Flash is bad. I love Flash. I think the Quicksilver, Flash. You've learned now that you can make these. Heroes with super speed, you can make them, they're the best, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody would want that power, man. I mean, so yeah, you're going to love the Flash in this one even more than the first one. We've already talked about Gal Gadot. If she was just on the screen for like 3 hours, I'd watch it. I still am amazed. I am blown away by how they make her look. Zack Snyder, man, he makes her look like a goddess, literally. And then Hera's in it. Amber Heard, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not even really familiar with Amber Heard. I'm like, this woman is like beautiful on the screen. Now, I'm not a big fan of Amy Adams as Lois Lane. I don't know what you think, but I just don't see it, man.
When I see Amy Adams, with the exception of when The Fighter,
yeah,
but any other movie that she's ever been in,
yeah,
I see Amy Adams. I can't.
Yeah, that's tough. I can't
separate her.
That's tough, yeah.
And so I agree with you. I don't think she makes a very good Lois Lane. I mean, Lois Lane.
Yeah. So
as far as any comic book anywhere, for someone to be the match or the mate of a, she's the quintessential one.
She's tough, though.
If you think, yeah, she's tough.
But I mean, she's tough to cast, dude. Because you got to look at Lois Lane. Okay. She's obviously brilliant at her job. Okay. So
I got somebody in mind right now.
Who's that?
The only downside is, attitude wise.
Okay.
And I've been watching Better Call Saul, and Rhea Seaborn that plays.
Okay, Kim.
She's amazing.
She would be a pretty good.
She's
Lois
amazing.
Lane. Because here's my thing with Lois Lane. Lois Lane is not Wonder Woman. To me, she should not be Megan Fox. Okay, she is a reporter who's damn good at her job. And say what you want. I mean, there's probably rare exceptions. But most reporters are not supermodels, because then they probably would not be reporters, dude. That is not a job that leans itself. Yes, there is beauty in the work and there's beauty in the words, but
they'd probably want to be an anchor or something
right,
on TV.
yes, but they
wouldn't want to be behind the print.
Right, and that's what she is. I started watching a series the other day. This woman, I forget her name, but this woman, I wish I knew her name, and this is like some series, but this woman is crazy. This woman was going like behind the scenes with like drug cartels. Like real deal. These dudes are all in masks. They're in a lab. She's filming this, dude. This is real life. They're making drugs in the lab with her with machine guns and everything. She's interviewing them. She's interviewing Jamaican like gangsters, sitting down with them, and she never flinches. I was like, whoever that woman is, that's Lois Lane. God, I wish I knew that woman's name, but that's you need a badass who's not afraid to get in the field, who's good at their job, and who kicks ass. That's who Superman would want to be with. Come on. So I think Lois Lane has always been. I don't think there's ever been a great Lois Lane cast.
There's a cartoon of Death of Superman, Doomsday Superman.
Okay,
that's what
yeah,
it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And the voice casting is Anne Heche.
Okay.
As Lois Lane, and I think there was a brilliant job because she's badass.
Mm-hmm.
Weeks after Superman is gone, Perry White, her boss, is like, "Why are you going on these ride-alongs to these cartels?" And,
right. Yeah.
And she's like, "That's my job."
Yeah.
He's like, "But he's not here anymore to save you." She's like, "So."
Yeah.
I did this before he was
Yeah, that's
around.
true. Yeah, that's right. So
and then there are some parts where there's only two women on the face of the planet that knew that both Clark and Superman were gone.
Right.
And that was her and his mom. And when she got around her, that's the only time she showed any kind of weakness. But that's not
that.
weakness.
I like that. I think a Lois Lane movie would be badass. I really do. God, I was thinking Carrie Coon might make a good Lois Lane.
Carrie Coon could play anything.
That's true. She could play Superman. You'd be like, all right, but Carrie Coon might make a good. I don't know, man. I would be all in on Lois Lane movie because I think she's a great character. She's almost to me like Leia, Princess Leia. Like they're both like kick ass, like take no crap, but still a romantic lead of a movie, and you buy it,
Yeah.
And I bought Carrie Fisher a little bit better than Margot Kidder. Just didn't do it for me. Then what's her? I can't remember the girl.
Margot Kidder. There's a level of chemistry that they didn't have.
Yeah.
And I looked into it, and she was a heavy smoker, and Christopher Reeves couldn't stand being right next to her because she reeked of cigarettes.
It's hilarious.
So and knowing that when you watch the movies again, you see it. You're like, okay, that's that block.
There you go. Well, that makes sense. So then some chick who was in Superman Returns, Kate Bosworth or somebody.
Yeah, I dare say she's worse than
Oh
Amy
yeah, I
Adams.
would say so. Amy Adams is a great actress, but
Yes.
I just don't. She just missing a little something. So I don't know. But anyway, I highly recommend people go. Where can you watch it? Jeffrey says
Maggie
in the chat.
Gyllenhaal could make a good Lois
Yeah,
Lane.
she'd be pretty good too. And
Unfortunately, she was already in the Batman movie.
Right.
As, Rachel Dawes. But,
yeah. No, she was. Yeah,
that was. She was basically a Lois Lane type.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, anyway, yes, you can go. You can watch it on HBO Max. So if you don't have HBO Max, just sign up for the 14-day free trial and go watch it. Might take you 14 days to watch it, but you've done that with movies, right? Like I'm trying to watch this movie called Mank. Okay, it's on Netflix. It stars Gary Oldman as the screenwriter who wrote Citizen Kane. Okay, It's
My mother-in-law was actually talking about that movie just now.
directed by Fincher. I'm like, all right, man,
Oh.
this movie should be amazing. I've tried to get through that movie 4 times, bro. I'm done. I don't care. I think it's
It's no Fight Club.
no, I think it's I think it's a terrible movie. I really do. It's nominated for a freaking Oscar. I think it's terrible, man.
Well, it's nominated for an Oscar because it's about Citizen Kane.
That's true. Hey, now, have you watched any of the nominated movies? I mean, that you're aware of? Do you even know what they are?
I don't even know what they are.
So no. I've watched them all but one. I haven't watched one called The Father with Anthony Hopkins, who's suffering from like dementia. That's going to be a heavy watch. So I love Sound of Metal. I've talked about Sound of Metal to a lot of people. It stars, I think his name is Riz Ahmed. He was in Star Wars: New Hope. He was the guy that was like,
he named the movie.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in Sound of Metal, he plays a drummer, indie rock drummer who's losing his hearing. This movie is phenomenal. I think it's one of the best damn movies I've seen in a long time. Unfortunately, I don't think this movie's I don't think it's going to win. I mean, because I don't know. I mean, I think it's like too indie to win. Like, what was the movie Whiplash?
I thought you were going to mention that one.
I thought Whiplash should have won, but it is too indie. So here's the ones for movie right quick. If I can find them. You think, okay, Best Picture. You've got The Father, which I talked about. You got Judas and the Black Messiah, which I just watched. Great movie. It's basically about a black activist in the 60s that was another guy, a black guy, became an informant for the FBI and basically led to the assassination of this guy. This guy was like a big-time speaker. Mank, which I've talked about. Minari, which is really good. It's a story of a Korean family that comes to live in Arkansas in the 1980s. It stars the guy from The Walking Dead.
Stephen Young.
Yes, Stephen Young. He's fantastic, and it's really good. Nomad Land is also nominated. Frances McDormand. That's kind of a movie about a woman who loses her husband, and so she basically just moves across the country and lives in an RV. This is based on a real life event, and she was method acting and literally going to these actual places and shooting part of this movie. It's a fascinating look. And then Promising Young Woman, which I've seen. It's a hard watch. It's about a woman who loses. Oh, no. Promising Young Woman is about, God bless, the girl from Drive, and I can't think, Carrie Mulligan. She plays a girl that is getting revenge on these guys. It's pretty fun movie. Sound of Metal, and then The Trial of the Chicago 7, which is written by Aaron Sorkin. It has Borat plays a serious role in it. I mean, it's a good movie, but I think it's going to win. I think it or Minari is going to win, just because the Academy likes to correct itself, and that is a movie that stars, primarily Asian actors. So we'll see. I mean, I love to watch all the movies, so I just want to see. Now, real quick, because we're wrapping up, what is the deal? Are you familiar with all this like Asian American violence that's happening in America?
I've heard about the thing that happened in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But they're saying that's different because it was the guy who did it. First of all the women that were killed in that situation, they worked at a massage parlor.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, and the guy who the suspect is has issues with sex addiction and stuff like that, and I mean,
who knows?
Yeah,
I mean, who knows?
But I mean, I hear a lot of there's a few Democratic Asian American lawmakers, senators and whatnot, that are speaking out against violence against these people, and I'm all for speaking against violence, but I don't know if it's because of, I mean, that situation I don't think had anything to do with what they're claiming,
right? But who knows? But yeah, I don't know much about it, but yeah, it would seem that, but who knows? I don't know. But yes, I'm so stupid. I saw the numbers. It's a lot. It was like over 3,700 incidents since the pandemic happened. And I went, since the pandemic? Oh, Donald Trump going around saying
Yeah.
I'm so naive to things, and I guess I don't see the world that way. I went, that's probably true then. Like, I mean, his people.
It's hard to discount it.
Yeah.
I mean, when with what happened at the Capitol in those numbers,
Yeah.
for that big of a group to do that, surely there's a smaller number of nut jobs that will go even further.
Oh, sure. 100%.
So thanks, Donnie.
But I want to wrap it up with it. It bothers me sometimes when people post like, I understood the Black Lives Matter thing where everyone's solidarity, we're all going to do, but even then, we're all going to, on social media for a day, we're going to just black out our profile. Okay. But then people post like, stop Asian violence. Everyone share this. I'm like, okay. You understand that like your followers, you believe are pretty much of your mindset. So you posting that is only like an echo chamber of the people that already support it. And like, at what point does a racist get online and go, oh, stop Asian violence? All right, man, I'm done, dude. I was wrong this entire time. It's a pat on the back to me for a lot of these people. I know people do have good intentions, some of them, but I think a lot of them are just patting themselves on the back. Like, oh, look what I did. I posted something. I'm doing something about it. Like, I don't know.
Are you really?
Yeah, so I don't. I just want to bring it up because of that film. Hopefully it will win. I mean, if it wins, I hope it wins because of that. But I hope it's not the Academy correcting it because of things that are going on right now. Yeah. I want things to win on merit, and sometimes more black films probably should be nominated and have the chance to win. But at the end of the day, let's get a really good movie up, and it is a good movie. So if it wins, but sometimes you feel like some movies are there for political reasons, and that happens. So. Whatever. But anyway, all right, well, we've come up to the end of the show, man. You learned a lot about my week, and we talked a lot about the Zack Snyder cut, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. When we come back next week, we're definitely going to do a Mount Rushmore. We're going to get back on task. We're going to have, I'm sure, lots of crazy things to talk about. We didn't talk about stimulus checks, hitting everybody's accounts, man. People are losing their minds about these stimmy checks, bro. What's going on?
Let's buy some lottery tickets for this money.
I do want to thank, Lynn said, her mom passed away March 14th, 2001. It's a weird feeling. I'm not good with words, but I've been thinking about you all week. Well, thank you, Lynn. I really appreciate that. And it's weird that your mother passed away close to mine, and March 14th is actually my dad's birthday, so that's even a little bit odder. But yes, it's always going to hit. So guys, thank you so much for all that. But while we're here, we want to get you over to the website where if you go to bybpod.com. That's bybpod.com. You go to our website. We've got all of our past episodes on there. We've got articles. We've got our Amazon link. So if you're going to buy anything through Amazon, we need you to click on that link. Rusty's been doing it for us, so we appreciate that. He always reaches out when he does it. If you do it, reach out to us and let us know.
Easter's coming up.
Yeah.
Buy some Easter
there
stuff.
You go, man.
Buy it on Amazon. Use our link.
There you go. But yeah, it's all there. So just go to bybpod.com. They're now telling you to say follow the podcast on whatever, Apple Podcast, Spotify, however you're getting it. Tell your friends about it. We know you guys are listening, so we appreciate it. So I guess that's in this show. So with all that being said, John, is there anything else?
Don't blame yourself when you can blame your brother.
Peace.